Hi, I'm Lee from Clubs New Zealand, and today we're going to be looking at how to do a stock take in the Swiftpos Point of Sale system. Now, it should be pretty similar for your point of sale as far as entering stock into the system goes. Swiftpos uses the invoices system, so you get an invoice when you purchase something, you enter those details into the system, and that's how the stock goes up. When you sell products, the stock goes down, and then at the end of the week or the month, you do a stock take and check that those two things match, that the amount of actual stock you've got and the stock that the system says you've got match up. And if they don't, that's called a variance, and you want to check those variances and try and figure out why it doesn't match. Is there an invoice that hasn't been entered? Somebody pressing the wrong buttons on the till, ringing up product? It's up to you to figure out why those variances are there and correct them. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to get the stock into the system. As I say, with Swiftpos it uses invoices to enter. Your system might use purchase orders, or it might use another method of getting the stock into the system. With Swiftpos we're going to see how to put invoices in right now. Here we are in Swiftpos back office, and the way that Swiftpos receipts the goods that you're bringing in is using the invoices. So whenever you purchase anything from your supplier, you're going to receive an invoice from them to pay for it, and that's what you can use in Swiftpos to enter their inventory. Now, depending on your POS system, you may do a slightly different method, possibly using purchase orders or something similar, but in Swiftpos we're doing it through suppliers and then invoices receipt goods. Now, your supplier is where the goods are coming from, so you can click on your drop down here, and we're getting it from Allied Liquor. And then we're going to add a row, so everything that you bring in, you're going to add a row and say what it is. So our supplier code, I happen to know for this product is 100150. And then we click enter, and that's going to bring up the Clubs New Zealand keg, and we're going to say here how many we've brought in. So we're bringing in units, not cases. I like to bring in units across the board, which just makes it simpler later. You might have seen that in the previous video, but we're bringing in 3 kegs here, and we need to make sure that we're bringing it into the correct location too. So this is going into the main bar. If you've got more than one location, you might have a bottle store that you bring it into and then you transfer it to the main bar. It'll be a slightly different procedure, but just make sure that the location here is the right location that you're bringing the goods into. Okay, we're bringing in 3. We're going to press enter. It's come up with a price here. You need to make sure that price is correct. It might have changed since last time. We're going to say this time we're getting them for 615. And you can see here we've bought in 3. Total cost is 205 each. Previously 209. And that's it. We can do add row if we've got more products to bring in, but we just brought the kegs in today. And the other thing in Swiftpos you have to enter is the invoice total from the bit of paper that you're looking at. So from your invoice, put in the total here. When you've got multiple products here, it means that Swiftpos will do a calculation and it'll say that that's the correct amount. So if we go save here now, save as complete, and print if you want to print out of it, we're just going to save it as complete. And it tells us a document number has not been entered. Now that's the invoice number, so you have to put the invoice number in from your invoice. Now we'll try again. So we go save as complete. You've elected to save this invoice as complete. Do you want to proceed? Yes, we do. Now that's taken those 3 kegs and it's added it onto the stock. And we can do a quick check of that stock if we wanted to by going into reports. We could look at inventory reports here, maybe just an inventory audit we'll do, and then we'll put in the product number, which I know is 100, 150, or you could click the 3 dots and search for it, and then we're going to go preview that report, and you can see that we've purchased
3 of those Clubs New Zealand kegs.
Okay, so we've entered our invoices, we've got our stock levels up to where they should be for the stock that we've brought in. Now we're going to look at what happens when we sell the stock and how that appears in the system. Back to Swiftpos.
Okay, here we are on the cash register side of things in Swiftpos Touch, and we're going to go into non-alcoholic, and we're going to sell a bunch of Clubs New Zealand pints, 6 of them there. We don't have a price on it, but that's okay because we're just worried about stock levels. So we've sold 6 pints there. Now we're going to go back into the back office and see where that shows up.
So we've looked at how we make the stock go up in the system when we purchase things. We've looked at how the stock goes down when we sell things. Now we're going to look at how to do a stock take to count all the stock and check that the system matches the actual stock that we have. Back to Swiftpos.
So to do a stock take in Swiftpos, you want to go into inventory, and then you'd go stock take in period end. But what we want to do is actually print out some stock take sheets. Now I know that in Swiftpos it'll do it as part of this procedure, but if you wanted to print them out separately, you can go into reports and then inventory and then count sheets, and you'll be able to print out the count sheets from here. We might do that anyway, so we'll go into here, we'll go main bar, and we're stock taking the main bar, and we're going to leave it for all products. Now you can include the nil inventory products here. You probably wouldn't want to do that. So if we look, we've only sold the Clubs New Zealand keg. So if we look at preview, we'll see that on our stock counting sheets, we've only got this because that's all we've sold, and there's 2.951 of them to be counted. We'd count them, we'd enter it in here, and then we can carry this sheet back to where we need to be able to enter it into Swiftpos. So you can click on print up here if you want to print those out, and then wander around and enter the counts in. The other way to do it is you could enter them directly into the system. If you had like a laptop you wandered around with, you could remote control this back office server and enter them in that way. But generally people just print them out like that in the count sheets and take it from there. So we're going to look at now how to do the actual stock take. So we'll go into stock take and period end. We're going to add, and we're going to say which location we want to stock take. So in our case it's just main bar, but it'd be whatever area you wanted to go and count now. So we go save and close. Tells us the inventory will be locked. Now what that means is that if somebody tries to sell something in the main bar through the touch screen, it's not going to affect the stock in the back office here. So because it'd be too hard to count, it takes you half a day to count, and that's time you've sold more stuff through the till, so you're never going to be able to get it to add up. So this locks it so that you can go and count, and that should be what's in the system. So we go yes, we want to proceed with the stock take. You then would click down here, the count entry. We're going to go add products wizard. So this is where we say what products we want to be included in the stock take. For this we're going from 1 to 999, 1 to 900, so it's all products we want to stock take that are in the main bar. So we go next. We could group them by product group is probably easier, and then product code, or you could go description and then it'll put them in alphabetical order, but just whatever way you want them to be represented on the screen. And we're going to say include 0 products so you can see what it normally looks like, and we're going to show the stock on hand so we can see how many we should have. You can also show the cost price there if you wanted to. We're going to go finish, and this has created all the products that we need to be stock taking. Now it's also generated the count sheet automatically, which is cool. So you could print those out now just by clicking on the print button up here, and then you could walk around and do your stock take. So we're going to close off those count sheets, and this is where we need to enter it in. So you'd walk back with the count sheets and you'd start putting it into the count field here, however many you've got. Now the only one that we're worried about is the kegs. So if we go to the Clubs New Zealand keg here, and you can see that we've got 2.951. Now, to count a keg, you really need to weigh it. You can just shake it around and have a best guess at it. To get it accurate, you could weigh it for sure, but we'll just take our guess and say, okay, we actually had 2.9 of those, although you'd probably want to, so it adds it in up here, you'd probably want to just make it the same. If it says 2.951, you reckon it's 2.9. I think the 0.05 of a keg is probably easier just to enter it in here. But for the purposes of this, we're going to keep it at 2.9, and then we're going to hit enter, and that just moves 2.9 to be our current count there. So we'd go through and do the same for all of these products, and when we've got it to where we want it to be, we can go recalculate variances. Oops, please save first. Okay, so we're going to save the changes, and you'll see our 2.9 is entered in there. We're going to go recalculate variances. Yes, we want to do that. And then if we go down to we can see that we're 0.051 out on this variance. Now you'd probably want to do a variance report, and to do that you can just click down here and go variance report. We want to do it for products, and we're going to go OK. And you'll see here, this will give us a printout of all the products which have got a variance. So in our case, it was supposed to be 2.951. We only had 2.9. So this is our variance. But you'd look down this list and you'd want to know why these are different. So you'd come through here, you'd check all your variances, you'd look for any reason for it. Maybe an invoice hasn't been entered, or maybe something's been counted wrong. So you've got DB drafter up and DB exporter down because somebody's been pressing the wrong button on the till, or something along those lines. You'd want to try and see if you can correct these variances before you commit the stock take. So at the moment, the stock's still locked and you've still got a stock take in progress here. Once you've got all of these variances back to where you wanted, so at this stage now you could still replace those amounts. So once you've figured out what was wrong, you can change it here, get it to where you want it to be. Once you're happy that the variances are right, then that this count is the amount that you want to be the actual stock amount, then you go commit. Check the start date and reference ID are correct. Ensure you have performed a backup before proceeding, which we've already done. We'll pretend. Are you sure you want to commit the stock take now? Yes. Select the report folder where you want it to go. I've just got it going to a temp folder here. We let it commit, do its little cog turning thing. Stocktake has been committed successfully. OK. So now that's made the 2.9 for Clubs New Zealand kegs as the current stock. Now the last thing you need to do is release. So release will release it and stop it from being locked. So if we click the arrow, we just go release all, but you might just want to release that one location that you're working on. I'm going to go release all. All locations have been released. Going forward, sales will now affect stock on hand. And that's it. Now your stock should be sitting at 2.9. So we can check that if we go reports, we go to our count sheets, we'll go down to our status report, and we'll be doing this for that product. Oops. And this one. And we're going to preview that. And you'll see now our stock on hand is 2.9. So that was a successful stock take, and you're ready to begin the next stock period. Thanks for watching. Any questions, give me a yell.